I'm here at Alderley Park in the northwest of England to learn about some exciting new developments that could revolutionise the way we treat cancer. Today, I'll be talking to the United Kingdom National Nuclear Laboratory and Medicines Discovery Catapult, who are working together to carry out research for a new type of cancer therapy. Incredibly, radiotherapy has been used to treat cancer since 1896, just after the discovery of X-rays. However, an exciting new approach to radiotherapy is being trialled around the world called Targeted Alpha Therapy. I'm here with Dr. Juliana Maynard. Tell me about Targeted Alpha Therapy.
Thanks. So Targeted Alpha Therapy works by directly delivering radioactive substances to individual cancer cells within the body. And it does this by administering a drug that will seek out and bind to the cancer cells. And once located, it will then deliver a minuscule dose of alpha radiation to damage the DNA of the cancer cell and destroy it. Alpha radiation can only travel a very, very short distance. In fact, it doesn't even pass through a piece of paper, meaning like there's very little damage to the surrounding healthy cells in the body, and it will only kill the cancer cell itself.
Alpha radiation comes from an unusual source, and to tell me all about it is Rachel Roberts. You work at UKNNL's lab in Preston. So tell me, where is this source and where does it come from?
It can be extracted from nuclear fuel that's already been used in a reactor to generate electricity for our homes. The element that's in the fuel is uranium. That's used for the power, and then once it's been taken out, it can be separated from the other chemical elements that are generated whilst it's irradiated. It's then formed into a pure uranium powder, and that decays naturally with time. And one of the elements that it decays into is this lead.
So what's so special about this lead?
It's a very specific form of lead. It's an isotope called lead-212. It's really short-lived, so it's got a half-life of just under 11 hours, which means that half of it has decayed within 11 hours. And whilst it's decaying, it's emitting radiation, and some of that radiation is this alpha radiation that's useful in targeted alpha therapy.
So let me get this right. The uranium is used in a nuclear power plant, and then it develops into a radionuclide called lead-212 that you separate out.
That's right, yeah. It needs to go through a few processes before it can be used. So we have to test the uranium and make sure that there's enough of the lead-212 in it and that it's been formed to the specifications that would be needed for this application. We can then dissolve it up in our lab in Preston into a liquid form so that it can be passed through an ion exchange resin, which is essentially just tiny beads with chemical groups on it. You might have seen them in water purification cartridges before, and they're designed to grab onto certain chemical elements. In this case, we wanted thorium to grab onto the resin because thorium decays into this form of lead and it's much longer lived, so we can hold the thorium and repeatedly take off the lead. Once we've done that, we purify the lead by passing it through more of these resins so that it's at a specification that's suitable for use in the medical industry. So then we've got a lead product in a liquid form, and we analyse it by various analytical equipment like a mass spectrometer and a gamma spectrometer before it can be sent for use at the Medicines Discovery Catapult.
Juliana, radiopharmaceutical research, that sounds really exciting. Can you tell me, what do you do?
Absolutely. So radiopharmaceuticals are a group of pharmaceutical drugs that contain radioactive isotopes. And radiopharmaceuticals can be used to both diagnose disease as well as to treat it. And a radiopharmaceutical molecule has two key components: the radionuclide that emits the radiation and the molecule itself that takes the radionuclide to the cancer cell. In radiopharmaceuticals, they can be used for both diagnosis with PET scanning and SPECT scanning, allowing visualization of body structures or metabolic activity, or they can be used as therapeutics and delivering that radiation to the cancer tissue and destroying the cancer cell. And it's thought that therapeutic radiopharmaceuticals could potentially one day replace chemotherapy, which is, massive. And the new approvals of new molecules such as Lutathera and Pluvicto were hailed as a huge step forward in the field, and there are a number of groundbreaking clinical trials currently underway.
So, Juliana, what's so special about lead-212?
So therapeutic radionuclides and radiopharmaceuticals hold such promise for how we treat diseases like cancer. And they're especially exciting because traditional chemotherapy and radiotherapy affect both healthy and diseased tissues. And this then results in side effects. But radiopharmaceuticals themselves are much more targeted, which means that those treatments are more effective and also less toxic. They can reach tiny microscopic tumours and metastases that surgery or radiotherapy may not see. A further approach in the future will combine diagnostic and therapy in one platform, so doctors can then use a diagnostic to see and check if the drug is binding to the tumour, but then they will then use a therapeutic version for treatment. This will help predict patient success and ultimately patient outcome, which is so important. Many patients with late-stage or treatment-resistant cancer are showing benefit for these therapies, which is really offering hope for those patients where other options have failed.
Thank you both so much for joining me today and talking about target alpha therapy. It's so fascinating, but have to ask the one question. When is this going to be available in the UK?
Well, first we've got to get the right quantities of the lead-212 to the radiopharmaceutical groups to work with. So there's quite strict regulations, as you can imagine, in scaling up the material that we're working with. But once we've got the process defined and proven at scale at UKNNL, there's potential for the UK to become a major supplier in this radionuclide. There's material there enough for thousands of doses a year if the patients are deemed suitable for the treatment.
And the good news is that we handle radionuclides and use them safely every day here in the UK. So here at Medicines Discovery Catapult, we can't wait to use this material in preclinical trials to fully test that hypothesis of lead-212 being a real game changer for patient outcomes in the future. So therapeutic radiopharmaceuticals are precision focused. They really lock onto the target disease tissue, and they are becoming a key part of the future of personalised nuclear medicine. We want to have more clinical trials to expand on the clinically approved use we've already seen, but we need better manufacturing and distribution systems because some of these drugs have very short half-lives. We also need to work together on cost management so that these therapies can become more widely accessible. It's so important that we achieve this so that we can get more treatments to our patients faster.